What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Story Dive 90. Today's stories are not a game. We are reading full Reddit stories today. No part 2s. The whole thing start to finish. And this first one right here set the tone for everything. Let's get into it. Alright, this one was posted by you. This girl, Sonar. And she made it a throwaway account, which honestly tells you everything before you even read the first line. The title alone is a gut punch. She wrote, I opened my husband's Snapchat and it was a very explicit picture and caption from a girl. He's sitting not 20 feet from me and I don't know how to handle this. Original post, August 23rd, 2016. She opens with, throwaway, because her husband is active on Reddit. He could be reading this right now while she's writing it. That detail alone is unsettling. She's 26, he's 32. 5 years together. Married a year and a half. She says she has never, not once in 5 years, had a single reason to doubt him. He's smart, funny, good-looking, and she genuinely believed he was loyal. He downloaded Snapchat a while back, which she thought was a little out of character since he wasn't really into social media. But he said his friends were using it more than Facebook. She had no reason to question it. Then one morning he gets up and gets in the shower. Leaves his phone on her nightstand. Same phone as hers, same ringtone. She's half asleep. Phone starts going off. She grabs it thinking it's hers. Sees a notification. Says, Mom. Okay. She can deal with that later. But right underneath it, there's a Snapchat notification. From someone named Roxy. She opens it. It's an explicit photo, with a caption that was very clearly not meant for anyone's wife to read. She said she immediately thought it was a mistake. Maybe a wrong number? Maybe an accident. But then she woke up a little more. Looked at the phone properly, and realized it wasn't her phone. She checks his Snapchat. Roxy has a yellow heart next to her name. If you don't know Snapchat, a yellow heart means that person is your #1 best friend on the app. Most snaps sent back and forth between two people. Consistently. She writes, Woo. T. And honestly, that's the only appropriate response. She says she feels physically sick. Doesn't snoop any further because she already knows what she's going to find if she does. And then she mentions something that changes the entire weight of the story. She's almost 12 weeks pregnant with their first child. He is sitting in the recliner 20 feet away. She's in the bedroom holding his phone. Pregnant and completely blindsided. She says she's heartbroken. She doesn't know how to confront him. She doesn't even know how to stand up and walk into the same room as him right now. She ends the post asking, is there any possible way she's misreading this situation? There isn't. And she already knows that. Update. Same day. Later that same day, she posts again. She went to her sister's place to clear her head and figure out her next move. Her sister went straight to work. Stalked his Facebook, went through his friends list, and found a woman who matched. She didn't see her face clearly in the Snapchat photo, but she found her profile. Her name is Roxy. She's listed as a receptionist at a law firm, the same law firm where her husband's close friend works. And her husband stops by that law firm regularly to have lunch with that friend. That's how they met. She's already been in touch with her uncle, who handles divorces, and she's building a picture of the full situation before she confronts him. She says she wants to handle this the right way. Walk away with her head held high. Be the kind of person her daughter can look up to. She's not sure it's a girl yet, but she gets a feeling. She's meeting with her uncle the next morning. Update 2. August 25th, 2016. 2 days later, she's back with the update. She confronted him. Stayed completely calm, which she credits to how her mother raised her, and told him he needed to explain who Roxy was, and why she had a yellow heart on his Snapchat. She said his face gave him away before he even opened his mouth, but he still tried to lie. He said Roxy just sends fitness snaps to everyone, that she's really into health and wellness, and every once in a while he'd snap her back. Something like a picture of a cheeseburger to joke around with her. That was his story. She didn't react, just kept asking questions. Why didn't you mention her? He got defensive, started raising his voice, and then said, and she quotes this directly, People warned me you'd get crazy when you're pregnant, but I never thought it'd be this bad. She said this moment was an exception to how she normally handles herself. She got furious. And that's fair. because he just watched his pregnant wife ask a completely reasonable question and decided the move was to blame the pregnancy. She told him she was his wife, that she was intelligent, that she deserved the truth. She asked to see his text messages. He showed her. Nothing there. She asked to see his Facebook messages, and she said he looked like a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He said no. She asked why. He started crying. Said he couldn't show her because they would hurt her, because they were inappropriate. And then he told her everything. They slept together the first night they met. The very first night. And it continued from there. For months. Without protection. She's pregnant. He's been having an unprotected affair for months. Her uncle has already confirmed that in divorce proceedings, they would be in a strong position. She told him to leave. Go to a hotel. Go to Roxy's place. She didn't care. Her mom and her sister came over and stayed the night. Final update. She posts one more time after that. And this is the one that matters. She's keeping the baby. She's a marketing manager for a large company. Works from home about half the time. And has always been financially independent. She never relied on him. And she's not starting now. She's not seeking spousal support. Just child support. She says the baby will be loved by so many people. That she's wanted this child since day one. And she'll figure out how to co-parent with him because she has to. But she's clear on who she is and what she's capable of. The last update she leaves is this. She's sitting outside at her parents' place. By the pool. Sunbathing her bump. Reading through every comment people left her on Reddit. And she says, "You have made me happy and content in a time when I'm short on both. This is proof that love does exist, even if it doesn't within my now over relationship. And that is a powerful thing. You, this girl Sinar, good luck to you and your daughter. You handled that with more grace than most people could." Alright, this next one comes from AITAH, posted by a user out of, and they just put somewhere outside as their location, which honestly tracks for this story. The title is, "Walked in on people in my apartment unexpectedly. AITAH for what I said to my girlfriend who wasn't even home." He opens with, "Hi Reddit. I'm in a little bit of a mental struggle with this one. And after reading it I get why. So, some context? He and his girlfriend have been together almost 4 years. They live together with her 5-year-old daughter. Both work full-time, sometimes from home, sometimes in the office. So every now and then they need someone to watch the kid for short stretches during work hours. Normal situation. Now, and this is important, him and his girlfriend are not in a good place right now. They've been in a pretty serious fight, and are actually considering separating. Because of that, they've barely been talking. Just the basics. Bills, logistics, necessary stuff. That's it. So he gets home from work at his usual time. Around 7 p.m., opens the door to his own apartment and is immediately standing face to face with a man he has never seen before in his life. And a few feet over from this stranger is his neighbor, someone he doesn't like, but his girlfriend is friendly with. Within about 30 seconds of him walking in, both of them leave, taking the girlfriend's daughter with them. He's standing in his apartment alone now, trying to process what just happened. He texts his girlfriend, and he says he's going to give the exact words he used. "If there's going to be 2 people in our house that I don't expect, could you please let me know before I walk in and I'm face to face with some random dude?" That's the text. That's the whole text. Her response? "I didn't know anyone was going to be there, so can you not talk to me like that?" He says, "I literally said that nicely, but never mind, sorry I asked." She says, "That was nice to you?" It was so accusatory. So now he clarifies, tells her he's not accusing her of anything. He's just asking her to give him a heads up if there's a chance someone might be in the apartment when he gets home. Reasonable. He's not raising his voice. He's not calling her names. He's asking for basic communication. Her response? "Whatever, dude. You clearly don't see your role in your poor communication skills." Followed immediately by, "I didn't know." Then she calls him and starts screaming at him that he doesn't understand his own communication problem. And that's exactly why she thinks he's never going to change. He's sleeping on the couch, in an apartment he says he pays a lot of money for. During the phone call, she mentioned that she had told the neighbor that if she needed anything while watching the daughter, she could leave the front door unlocked. So she told the neighbor the door would be unlocked, which means she knew there was a real possibility someone could be in that apartment. And then when he walked in and calmly asked for a heads up next time, She screamed at him about his communication skills. He ends the post genuinely asking Reddit whether he said something wrong, whether he missed something, because right now he's the bad guy, and he genuinely cannot figure out why. And I'll be honest, I read this a couple times looking for the part where he messed up. I'm still looking. Alright, last story of the day. And I want to be straight with you. This one is heavy, like genuinely disturbing. This was originally posted to both r relationship_advice and r legaladvice by you. This ROWR A7778888. The title is, My birth control was tampered with by my boyfriend. I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do. Original post goes back to September 9th, 2025, and there are multiple updates after this, including one from just recently, February 2026. So we have the full picture. Let's go. She and her boyfriend are both 22. They were high school friends. Went to the same college, reconnected, got together. 3 years in, and she says lately things haven't been great. Their lifestyles don't really line up anymore, and she feels more like his mother than his girlfriend. She's losing patience with the relationship. His mom is in the picture a lot. He's an only child, very close with her. The mom is nice enough, but very traditional. And for the past couple of months, she's noticed the mom has been making comments, specifically when they're alone together, about having kids. Things like, the joy of motherhood is like nothing else. You'll understand someday. And, I know it's hard right now, but a baby might bring you two closer. And, my husband and I fought constantly until we finally had him. Once you have a baby, everything else falls away. She noted all of this, but didn't think too much of it at the time. Figured the woman was just old-fashioned and pushing her own values. Now here's the setup you need to understand. She's on the pill. She takes a week's worth at a time and keeps them in a pill organizer alongside her other medications. She keeps the empty blister packs in her nightstand. She's a bit of a hoarder about throwing things out. Habit from growing up in a doomsday prepping household. She mentions this because it matters later. She missed her period. Took a test. Positive. She called her boyfriend immediately. He didn't want to come home at first. They're not in a great financial spot. But she was crying so hard she could barely speak. And eventually, he came. She was on the bathroom floor when he walked in. A complete wreck. And she says when he saw the pregnancy test, his face lit up. He smiled. His first words were, "Oh my God, baby. This is great." She wanted to put her head through the wall. She tried to explain through tears that this was not great. They're full-time students with jobs. She has serious unresolved health issues. They can barely afford rent. He left her alone in the bathroom for a bit to calm down. While he was gone, she noticed something in the trash can. One of her empty blister packs. She didn't think much of it at first, but something made her dig through the bag. And at the bottom, she found 7 of her birth control pills. Her actual pills. Not the sugar pills. Her real ones. Just sitting there in the trash. He had been removing her pills and replacing them with the sugar pills. The ones she doesn't bother taking. She was swallowing what she thought was her birth control every morning. And it was nothing. He had been tracking her cycle through her Fitbit app. They share phone access, and figured out when she was ovulating. She says she feels so stupid. The sugar pills are a different color. She just never looked closely because she had no reason to. She told a few close friends. They told her she needed to leave. She's staying at her parents' place. He's been texting her non-stop asking her to come home. She adds a quick edit at the bottom of the original post. She's made an appointment to terminate. She says she's chronically ill. The pregnancy would be high risk, and she's not bringing a child into this situation. She's scared, but she's clear on her decision. She also mentions that a friend of hers, someone the ex trusted, gently reached out to him, and he broke almost immediately. Admitted to tampering with her birth control. Said he felt like a terrible person. He is. Update 1. October 2nd, 2025. Nearly a month later, she posts an update. She says the ex's family has been a complete mess. She's been in contact with lawyers and has spoken to police. She says she's been lucky to have some genuinely good people helping her navigate it. But it's a slow process, and she can't share too many details yet. The ex officially confessed to messing with her birth control. The way they got it out of him? Her friend. Someone the ex had always trusted and had a bit of a thing for, reached out to him acting like she was on his side. Very casual, non-confrontational. Made him feel safe enough to talk. And he cracked. The screenshots exist. She's keeping them. Her appointment went smoothly. No complications. Her mom, her aunt, her sister, and her friend all made sure she was taken care of before and after. She says being surrounded by that much support made it easier than she expected. Her parents, who she mentioned were fairly religious, have been more supportive than she anticipated. Her mom especially. She says she's grateful beyond words. And then, almost as a side note, she mentions that she and the friend who helped her get the confession have been spending a lot of time together, sharing a bed in her childhood room. They kissed. Just once. She's had a crush on her since high school. She doesn't know where it's going, but she's not ruling it out. She says in some messed up way, this whole thing forced her hand and she ended a relationship that was long overdue. Leaving it felt impossible. The situation made it non-negotiable. She also mentioned something that stopped me cold. This wasn't the first time this happened in that family. The ex's cousin, she calls him Mark, did the exact same thing to his girlfriend, who she calls Kathy. Same playbook. His mother, the ex's aunt, had apparently been pushing the idea in both households. The ex even admitted in his confession that the whole thing was his mom's idea. Mom claims she got the idea from her sister. The sister had no excuse. Kathy wasn't as lucky. She ended up keeping the baby and marrying Mark under constant family pressure. She's now divorcing him. The ex's confession implicated Mark as well, which has made Kathy's divorce go a lot smoother. She says Kathy seems to be doing better. Final update, February 25th, 2026. This update came just about a month ago. She filed a civil suit and pressed charges shortly after everything happened. The civil suit settled in mediation. She says it was over fast, and she thinks the family didn't want to drag it out because of how much evidence she had. She's receiving a financial settlement. Turns out the ex's father is extremely wealthy. She had no idea the extent of it while they were together. The criminal side is a different story. The police were largely unhelpful. She felt like she wasn't taken seriously. The case eventually made it to a prosecutor, who dropped the charges. Her attorney had warned her this was likely. Birth control sabotage doesn't fit cleanly into Illinois' law. What happened to her is widely understood to be reproductive coercion, which most reasonable people would recognize as a form of assault. But legally, the definition used in Illinois actually refers to coercing someone into having an abortion, not the other way around. So what he did to her fell into a gap. She's angry. Understandably. She says she might look into refiling, but she's exhausted and ready for it to be over. She ends the post the way she's ended everyone, with genuine gratitude to everyone who showed up for her in the comments. She says she received so much kindness and not a single unkind word across everything she posted. She hopes the goodness people put out comes back to them. And that's where it ends. For now. And that is Story Dive 90 for today. 3 full stories, start to finish. No part 2s, no cliffhangers, just the whole thing. You, Throwaway 7777888. I hope you're doing well. Genuinely. If you made it this far, drop a comment. Tell me which story hit hardest. Subscribe if you haven't. We do this regularly, and we always bring the full story. I'll see you in the next one.